Hey everyone, it's Shanna Brown with Empowered Forever, Empowered Living for an Empowered Life. And today I'm here to talk to you about riding the wave. So I'm at an interesting point in my life right now where some things from my past, from a long, long time ago, are coming up. And I'm recognizing the opportunity goes back to this theme of riding the wave that I often work with my clients, whether they be children, parents, or even adults. What's fascinating is that from a very young age, we are taught that our emotions are overwhelming and need to be stopped. So we suppress and avoid and do anything we can to make sure that we don't have to experience the discomfort of an emotion. The problem is that when you don't allow yourself to experience the physiological response of the emotion, then if you suppress it, if you avoid it, it gets shoved down into your body. It gets stored literally into your body. And if any of you have ever been to yoga class, sometimes they'll say, oh, emotions are stored in your hips. And it's like, what are they talking about? It's this unexperienced emotions, and they have to go somewhere. So if it was a physiological response that didn't get out, then it's going to stay stuck in the physiological body. And then what happens is you'll see these kids, and then they'll just absolutely explode, right? And it's such an exaggerated, intense experience. And where did that come from? And if you were to label, 1 to 10 with intensity, the 10 comes from not allowing that child to experience the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7. And when a child can't experience that, it doesn't last forever. When they can experience that it's a wave, that it's temporary, that there is a trigger, there is a stimulus, and it causes this physiological reaction, this emotion, and then you start to experience that, and it's going to last maybe 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. And that's what the research shows, that it doesn't last as long as we think it is. But we're so scared of it that we instantly start to control and manipulate and do whatever we can to get the uncomfortable feeling to go away. Because we don't have the tools, the skills, or the resiliency, or the experience. We don't have the practice of riding the wave. I'm telling my clients all the time, will you allow yourself to ride the wave? One time when I was in therapy, I walked in and it was a new therapist, and my intention, she's like, why are you here? I'm like, I'm here to feel my feelings. And her reaction was so funny. She's like, oh. And I'm like, no, I literally just want to come in and I want to have a safe space to actually let myself feel a feeling without intellectualizing it. Because that was always my go-to. I'm into mindfulness and consciousness, and so my go-to is to intellectualize. I can understand why I'm having a feeling, I can understand where it came from, and then I just want to jump to the aha, the epiphany, and then just skip the whole wave, which in the long run is not supportive or healthy. So I started exploring, allowing myself to feel my feelings and allowing myself to experience my emotions that were in my body. And I had a mentor, and she said a fascinating thing to me once. She said she just came across some research, and it suggested, what if we didn't need to do any type of emotional regulation? What if we didn't need to self-regulate? What if we could automatically self-regulate, and it was not a process that had to be learned, that we disrupted that natural flow, that natural wave, that we started to get involved and mess with something that was already established. They always say, like, the body's a natural healer until we start to disrupt that healing process, right? So this concept, it really resonated with me. I could really understand what it was that she was saying when she said this about what if we didn't have to regulate. So when that emotion comes up, right, that physiological response, when that emotion comes up in your body, what if you didn't have to do anything with it? What if you could let it come up, and then within the 90 seconds to 2 minutes, it would just work through you? For me, for anger, gross motor is huge for me. I need big muscle movements when I'm angry. And so when I was younger, my mom and I had this plan, and it would be run, right? So it wouldn't even matter if one time we were in a car and I was just going ballistic, and I started throwing my body around in the vehicle because I started to get this super intense emotion of anger, and it was rage, and there was no talking through it. I had to move, and I just remember that I was able to access run, and sure enough, she just pulled over. She just pulled the car over, and I just got out and I just ran, and I just ran as fast as I could, and I just kept running and kept running and kept running, and until I was able to allow that to come through me. And then once that came through me, that emotion then turns into a feeling. And the feeling is manageable because now you can use language, and it's not that lower part of your brain, right? Where now we're entering that more sophisticated, the higher parts of your brain, and I'm able to look at my mom and say, I was feeling so angry. Like I am still feeling so angry, and able to go to why, like able to start having a conversation then about what it is. But we skip that physiological part. We skip that sobbing and that uncontrollable shaking, and we skip that part because it's scary and we don't know what it is, and we're worried it's not going to stop, and we've got to start holding space for kids to experience that. We've got to start letting them see that it's a wave and it's temporary, and I'm going to sit with you. It's going to come, and then it's going to go, and it's going to come, and it's going to go. It is temporary, and I just encourage you to, explore and practice this for yourself, or if you're a teacher, or if you work with kids, or if you have kids, explore and practice it with them. Explore letting them ride the wave. The last piece I'll leave you with is that when you haven't allowed yourself to do this, and you first start, it's not going to be 2 minutes. So I heard the 2-minute research, and I said, oh, I can handle 2 minutes of anything. And I realized that it was hours, it wasn't 2 minutes. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. But the reality was, what was 2 hours? It was 2 hours of years and years and years and years and years of suppression, avoidance, and intellectualizing. So when that trigger came up and that stimulus and I had a reaction, I wasn't reacting to that moment. I was reacting to that moment and all the other moments that I never had a chance to react to. And then my body started doing something incredible, and my mind started doing something incredible as I eased into this practice. And that's why I did it in a safe space, because it felt too overwhelming to do on my own at first, until I had more skills and more of that. You need to see the other side, right? So you need to ride the wave and see that it is temporary. And once I could see that it was temporary, I could start exploring it for myself. And what is so powerful about this now in my body and my mind is there's a profound difference. There is a profound difference, because I get triggered still, and I have reactions, and I have emotions still, but they are so different. And I'm starting to enter, sometimes, not always, that 90 seconds to 2 minute range where it comes up and I let myself feel it. And I can be the first to admit that the other night I had like this all day long, like this just angry, crying, like breakdown all day. And then it hit me that night, that night I got so clear, and I was just like, I've been fighting this all day. I've been fighting this all day. I've just been resisting, instead of acknowledging and accepting and allowing myself to experience that emotion. But instead, I fought it all day, and so it never went away. And then as soon as I stopped fighting it and I just let myself go to that place of absolute fear, I was just so unbelievably scared, and I felt the shaking in my body. And once I went to that place, it didn't last but a few minutes. And then after, I was able to articulate to one of my people, and I was able just to tell him so clearly that I'm feeling really scared. I'm feeling really scared, and I got so overwhelmed, and I didn't want to feel that scared, so I wanted to make it stop. So that's my talk for today. That's my words of wisdom, is ride the wave. So give yourself permission to find a safe space to do that. I do this with my clients, this work with my clients all the time, but feel free to seek out a counselor, psychologist, someone that can help you start to explore that. There are lots of ways to explore that. I have clients who do it through a therapeutic yoga experience. I have clients who do it through Reiki and energetics and coaching, and there's so many ways to ride that wave. So I highly encourage you to allow yourself to start to explore that. All right, well, that's all for me today. So good luck out there riding your waves. And I'm wishing everyone just a really authentic experience today. All right, see ya. Bye.